to think of the sales and marketing budget and the M&A budget as one pool. And ask yourself, is $1 in sales more efficient? Is $1 in marketing more efficient? Or is $1 dedicated towards M&A more efficient? Which is the best avenue for the most efficient and creative use of capital? Sometimes what you might find is that some companies are spending very inefficiently in one area and sort of undervaluing, underemphasizing another area which can be much more efficient. So maybe you run into the wall at Facebook or Google, but M&A can be super efficient for you. Or maybe M&A is really inefficient and sales is really efficient for you. And so I think it's a healthy exercise to say, hey, all of this is one pool. The best use, you're competing for that one pool. The best use wins, or the best use gets a disproportionate amount. What I don't think makes sense is if one use case is really inefficient, yet it continues to get a bulk of the capital, almost starving the other use case of capital that it could use to deploy more efficiently. So that's the thought about that. Thinking about creating a single pool and letting the use cases compete based on their relative efficiency and accretiveness. All right. Final thought. Okay, this is actually a repost of an article written by Peter Lynch. Peter Lynch, if you don't know who he is one of the sort of investing titans. I grew up in my era thinking about him as one of the best, right there with Warren Buffett. He's a Boston guy. He worked at Fidelity. He ran the Magellan Fund for decades, posted, I think, high 20% compounding growth for decades. So one of the best. He wrote this article, and I'll just cover the title, which is How to Catch Companies That Are on Their Way Back and Avoid Companies That Are on Their Way Out. So this article is about how sometimes he would go into the public markets and invest in turnaround stories. And it's a turnaround story because the company has struggled. It has had bad performance. Its stock price is down. And he's trying to articulate some perspective on how do you decide between a company that might turn around and a company that's actually just going to fail or never really recapture its former glory. And I think there's some lessons learned for those of us who are on the operating side. Maybe you're not in a pure turnaround scenario, but maybe you're trying to drive towards profitable growth, or you're changing your business or something along those lines where you're doing a pretty hard pivot. The first thing Peter Lynch says that he looks at when he's evaluating a possible turnaround is solvency. If he doesn't feel comfortable with the solvency of the business, he doesn't go any further. And so I think that's a very important piece of wisdom for those of us on the operating side is if you're in a turnaround situation, the number one most important thing you need to solve upfront is solvency. You need to establish that you are going to be around for the future to arrive. And so solvency is a marriage of a couple of dynamics. It's the cash generation of the business and the strength of the balance sheet. So it's profitability and balance sheet strength. And if you can address profitability and balance sheet strength, so you have enough cash and little or no debt, and you're generating cash as a business, you're going to be around. Like you have established the foundation for this business. It's that dynamic that says, hey, this company is solvent. It's not going anywhere. And you have sort of checked Peter Lynch's first box. What you don't want to do is get ahead of yourself. What a lot of companies in turnarounds do is they try and drive for growth, but they haven't solved the profitability balance sheet dynamic. You can grow and run out of capital. You can grow and go bankrupt if the first two are not with you. And so I think it's important and wise, and to Peter Lynch's perspective, to take out the exogenous risks first, which is take out the solvency risks, strengthen profitability and balance sheet right out of the gate. Then the question is, for a true turnaround to happen, is the company has to grow. I think Lynch actually gives some really good advice on this topic, which he says it takes longer than most people hope for. It doesn't happen overnight. There can be little green shoots that are false indicators. But in my experience, if you want to look for growth, the most obvious metric for growth is that the company's overall revenue is growing year over year. Like that is obviously that is the definition of growth. So before it's that obvious, the question is, are there indicators that suggest it's going in the right direction? And I would say that there's a few. The first is I would look for segments, channels, geographies, some subsegment of the business that is growing. but its growth may be overshadowed by a decline in the rest of the business. And so obviously, if every single segment of a business is not growing, then the whole thing is not growing. But in an overall business that might be declining, there can be some seams in that business that are showing strength and growth. And first, I start to look for those and see if those are expanding within the context of the business. If they are, and if certain elements of the business are growing, what you'll see then before year-over-year growth is you'll see segment growth. Then you'll see over time, you should see at the corporate level quarter-over-quarter growth. And then over time, you'll see year-over-year growth. So it usually happens in that sequence. So again, I think it's a good article that you should go check out, which talks about sort of solidifying the solvency of the business and then being patient through the growth, the top line, return of top line growth in the business. And those are some elements and green shoots that you can look for as you go. So those are a few thoughts on some of the posts. Now I can turn my attention to the comments section and see if you guys have any questions. It looks like you guys are having a good time in the comments section. I'm not going to lie. But if you have any particular comments or questions that I can actually answer, let me know. So let's see what we've got. By the way, as we wait for that to come in, I am in Boston. Last time we were here, you guys asked me if I'm actually live. I am live. I don't know how to prove it to you that I'm live, but it's 4:17 p.m. All right. Someone just asked me, what did I eat today? I had my protein shake in the morning, and I had a Anna's Taqueria burrito for lunch. Okay, how's that? Is that what you expected? I'm not sure. All right, what else do we have? Oh, what is my favorite update to the GameStop app? I can't really talk about anything really specific on GameStop, but I really do love the fact that you can now price your PSA graded cards on the GameStop app. That's really cool. And I think I posted about how I've been playing with that feature. Actually, hold on one sec. I have a few cards. You can see I have some cards here, like I was pricing them. This is actually the one that I priced that I think I tweeted about. And so I've got a few others. But I like that feature. It maxes out at, I think, 5 pricing units per day. So that's the max I can do. So I think that's really great. All right, what else do we have? Am I AI? No, I'm not AI. I'm for real. Larry, any tips for managing burnout? Boy, I'm going to try a new feature, which is if I can post a question. Oh, do you guys see that? All right, I think you do. Larry, any tips for managing burnout?
Don't get it.
Any tips? Let's see. I think consistently exercise and creating time for people, for yourself to do, to take care of yourself. They would call that self-care in this day and age, and doing that consistently. So for me, it's, have a good breakfast and exercise in the morning. And that's sort of my routine. I think if you do something, 1 or 2 things positive for yourself in the day, even if you're working hard, it sort of feels like you're not sort of burning yourself out. All right.
Pull yourself together. Put your blouse on and get back to work.
Oh, here we go. Hide. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? How do you get a company back on track when its revenue is dipping? Okay, let's see if I can show this. It's actually really hard because you guys make so many comments. To actually snag one and pull it over the screen is hard. I'll just answer the question. How do you get revenue to return? I think you have to look at the business and look at what you look at any business is there's lots of inefficiencies in a company. So just trust me that this is true. When you come into a business, money is being spent on things that are irrelevant, that don't drive value, that don't drive sales efficiently. And you almost have to just parse the whole thing and think about it as an entire matrix and just isolate the areas where capital is being deployed, but it's not being deployed efficiently. And you sort of rationalize those areas. And that's not to sort of decrease the size of the business, which it can. It's to return capital to the business so that you can deploy it into areas that that are growing or have the potential to grow. And so you remember when I talked
the answer is
about
put your blouse back on and get back to work. What's he talking about now?
What the sad scenario is if you see some green shoots and there's certain areas that are worth investing in, but you don't have capital to go invest in them. And so
that's a nice
it's almost like
in the kitchen.
To grow revenue, you have to be sort of radically efficient on cost structure and efficiency to source capital for the areas that can grow. All right, what does community mean to a business? This is Justin. I'm going to show his.
Hey, Justin!
I've made some comments about community, and I think I made a post that community is the competitive advantage that I'm most comfortable with. There aren't that many really durable competitive
Larry
advantages.
BC on Twitter.
I don't think technology is often one. Sales channels are not usually one. The two that I think are the almost hardest to quantify, but are among the strongest, are community and brand. There are certainly in consumer companies where they're not just selling product, but there's a huge following, there's a passion, there's a community behind it, and I think those companies have a huge durable advantage, just a tremendous durable advantage, and that almost goes part and parcel with brand. So,
durability.
I would say I almost don't want to invest in a company, especially if it's consumer related, if it doesn't have a community behind it. I'll digress a little bit, actually. I think when it comes to where you spend your sales and marketing dollars,
there's connotations with when you talk.
Sometimes people focus too much on traditional.
Why do they need to be so durable?
And
what are you doing?
Rather than using capital to sort of cultivate the community and that softer aspect of the business, I think sometimes you can invest more in community and use that as the driver of growth than sort of traditional marketing channels. All right. Let's see. What else do we have?
We've got loads of questions about AI.
What's the RTS truck? Okay, sorry. I'll get this. This is a garbage truck.
The dumpster.
It's a company that I invested in a while back ago. It's called Recycle Truck Systems. They're kind of like an Uber for waste.
So he's going to put his durable community before he said.
And it's a company that I'm on the board in out of New York. So they gave that to me when we invested, and
Larry, what about AI?
It's a cool toy that I've had on my desk ever since. All right.
Your desk.
What do we got?
With kitchen cabinets.
Someone's now claiming that I am definitely AI.
Yep.
Do you work out, Larry? Yes, I work out almost every day. Okay.
We need to ask him what he thinks.
You guys are funny. You're saying some things that I cannot repeat in this context. I think you're trying to test me to see if I'll falter. What's your favorite drink? You're going to think I'm weak sauce. Outside of water, it's cranberry and soda.
Wrong.
Is that pretty weak? You can
wrong
say
answer.
They joke around here. I don't really drink alcohol hardly at all. And so cranberry and soda is my go-to drink.
Mars milkshake or banana milkshake.
More soda water than cranberry juice. And people here call it the drink of champions when it's kind of a weak sauce drink. I get it. All right. What else do we have? Okay, maybe I'll take a couple more. Why does everyone keep asking if I'm human or AI? I don't know. Should I be taking that personally? I don't know. Okay. What kind of strategy do you use to reset the course of a company dipping in revenue? I think I kind of answered that on the last question a couple questions ago about isolating the areas of growth and being rigorous about taking capital away from the areas that are not efficient. Okay, let's see if we can find one more. Someone's asking me about cat or dogs. Okay, what do I do for exercise? You guys are interested in my exercise regime. I lift weights. I do resistance training. I don't like to run. I have run the Boston Marathon once. I am not a long distance runner. I ran track in high school, so I ran the 400, the 200. It's terrible. But I did run the Boston Marathon once, and I started training by running one mile in my first training run. That was it. And I vowed never to do that again. But I mostly do strength training. Okay, last question. I got an ice cream question. When When will you have ice cream next is the question. Scooty, I just want you to know, I'm probably going to have ice cream tonight. I am a bit of an ice cream aficionado. Actually, this is a good question for the community, and maybe you can send it back to me on Twitter at some point, or X. Like, what is the very best vanilla ice cream in the entire country? I have been searching for that.
Vanilla ice cream.
And I love ice cream, so I had it last night. I'm probably gonna have it tonight. And so if you want to give me some good recs on the best vanilla ice cream, I'm on the hunt for it. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I'll let you guys go back to your day. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much. Take care.
Wow. Anyway, right. So this is the MACD, right? It's composed of the MACD line, the signal line, and a histogram. The histogram speaks to the distance between the MACD and the signal line. So when it's green, it means the MACD is crossing back above the signal line. When it's red, it's below. The bigger those bars on the histogram, now it's not a real histogram, but Americans call it so I'm going with it. It speaks to the distance between them. When it's red, it's below, the MACD is below the signal line. When it's got a bigger bar here, it means it's a bigger distance away. The bigger that distance, as you've been watching Rocky's show yesterday, then that speaks to the momentum on the short term, because it's two moving averages and it's measuring the distance between the two of them. And if you look back, you can see that that distance wasn't as dramatic as it has been here recently. So we then look to price and see, is price lower than it was at this previous low? And this is where you got that previous low in here. So we're dropping it on with a vertical line. And then this is where you got the next low on the MACD, and I drop it on with a vertical line. So that's how you would measure divergence when you compare this to the price. And then you would look for a signal. The signal you get is the MACD line crossing the signal line, which is happening here. And then you get confirmation when it goes through the center line clearly being that 0. So we might then also drop in another vertical line just after to see what price did at that point. It clearly hasn't done it yet, but you've got the cross. This is the cross coming up, and the cross would typically be in and around the low on price. So it's the 30-minute here. Let's go and look at price action alone at those points. Here you got a massive boost back up again when it went through the center line. You got the biggest ranging candle on that subsequent uptrend. You've just had the MACD put in its lowest level here. Price then nowhere near as low as it was previously, so that speaks to divergence. Bullish reversal divergence, so price likely going back up again. You've had the cross above the center line, signal line, and now you need to see it getting back above that center line. When it happens, you'll probably get another boost on price. That could take it to the previous high. If it's a very strong move, it would certainly be looking to challenge there in the first instance. That'd be back up around 153. That's fantastic if it gets there. Putting that in context, what is that? We'll go up to the 4-hour time frame, and you can see it's the top side of this downward sloping parallel channel that has been covering price action for a very long time. If it breaks out of that area, then you'd look for it to go and test the lower side of the gap at 170. And if it breaks on up to the top side, which it may well do, having broken this long-term downward sloping parallel channel, then you might be targeting at around 230. If all of that breaks, then maybe you've got a measured move expressed by the 50% of this channel, which would take you up to this target at 323. And now we go across to the trade spotting lines where price action ultimately goes to, because it absolutely loves them. If it does even better, then it could go the full width of this channel, which point we drop this guy on, put that across the top side, and you'd be back up above $5. $5 on Lipson, very possible. That doesn't speak to the entirety of all possibilities for price, but it's a whole lot more exciting than what particular type of vanilla ice cream you're going to eat. And I think that really good advice for Larry would be to add some variety into his life and his live streams, not to take the questions personally, not to let them knock you off kilter so very bad, and just focus on your own objectives. Don't let anything else knock you away from your plan. And the plan here is to take this thing to the fucking moon. What a show this is. My God, it's so much better than what we could be doing right now. So this is 4 hour looking at price action within this downward sloping channel. Oh my goodness gracious me, we're all having a great day. Price action on Lisbon, post-market up 3.5%. This thing's amazing. It moves like a crypto, as Rocky said yesterday. I'd urge everybody to watch his video. It's fantastic. He does a good 40 odd minutes right at the start of the show, all about LivePerson. He is the person who created this amazing space for all of us live persons to make so much money on LivePerson. There's at one spot 98% there in the day to the top side, though it was up, 15, 20% at some point during the day because it's the greatest stock in the universe and it does absolutely beautiful, amazing things all the time. And yeah, it's brilliant and we love it. So that 30-minute cross is very, very interesting. It's very, very positive. Price action's been in this trend. It's had a really strong reaction from the lows. Now, it was a question posed on Twitter to somebody else who looks at charts, and the guy's obviously not very good at it because he said it's had a weak sauce reaction from the lows. But this is an absolutely amazing reaction from the lows. Really, really strong. The lows got an amazing reversal formation. It's a perfect reversal setup. It's goddamn obvious if you're an experienced trader like myself with a really good idea of what's going on a chart. And his next question to him was, well, what do you think is going to happen with GameStop? And he said, well, it's in this blah, blah, blah behind some paid thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like he can't even give you his top level thoughts. He can't even give you his surface impressions of something unless you join up to some paid thing. Like, nah, you demonstrate the value of the paid thing with what you're doing with your own skills on the free side, right? People don't want to just pay something to get your thoughts on something. You're going to pay it and they're going to have to learn. You're going to teach them something. Like here, where we teach you to become really a good trader who acts on their own volition, understands the charts, can manage risk, and turn into a fantastic trader. You could be one of the future traders working with me when we've got a front door on Wall Street, a tower above us, and a big name on the side. And they will be in that. There will be ice cream, free ice cream for everybody, but there will only be one flavor of vanilla ice cream because anything else would be working way too tightly within a much too narrow set of options. And I want you guys to enjoy the spice of life, all the different flavors, not just different types of vanilla. So, Lipson, it's not vanilla. It's incredible. There's nothing vanilla about about ice cream. Sure, about LivePerson, there's nothing vanilla about it. Now, I would have loved Larry to talk about LivePerson. That he asked for questions ahead of his show, and by far the biggest engagement about any question he got was about LivePerson. But he avoided it resolutely. He had a determined focus on not answering anything to do with LivePerson. And he alluded to the fact that he can't talk about specifics with regards to GameStop. So is it true that Larry knows the potential in LivePerson, is aware of what could happen if he does open his mouth about it? Maybe he himself loves a little bit of LivePerson and has got some. Maybe. I think that there's a very strong chance of it because instead of addressing that question, which got the most engagement on his Twitter, which was being asked over and over again in his chat box, far more than any other one question, but he didn't address it. I think that suggests that perhaps Larry does actually know about LivePerson and its potential. Also, he's not yet ready to talk about it because he needs to have his ice cream, play with his little truck, and then I don't know, what was the next thing you were doing, Larry? I also heard when I started tuning in there that he addressed a question about where's the best place to spend money? Would it be on acquiring customers or acquiring companies? And let me put that to you that's a false dichotomy. You buy companies so that it'll allow you to acquire more customers. Either theirs already or their technology providing you with benefits to your own underlying operational costs, which allows you to then spend more money more efficiently getting customers or to make your current customers happy. It's about market share. It's always about market share. It's not about a false choice between acquiring companies or customers. The question is, where do you spend money to increase your market share? That's the question, and the answer will be decided not by one person, but by the board and all the different experts in their own field, which have got particular jobs within the company. So you're looking at LivePerson up 3.5%. You're thinking, where could it go to? And the answer is defined by those 30-minute artifacts we see on the momentum indicator. If you're also wanting to look at other momentum indicators, here's the RSI, and I'll turn off the drawings. We'll turn them off. You don't have divergence between these lows and the most recent previous lows. You don't have that because the RSI hasn't come back down that low, and price itself is nowhere near these previous lows. So it wasn't going to be there. If price was to make its way towards these areas, the RSI would be much lower than that previous low. The fact that there would be divergence would be obvious to everybody and their mum. And, then their mum might be on talking about LivePerson and all the different things that are likely to happen on the stream here. If it moves to the top side, we see the RSI challenging the bullish control zone, which would suggest coming up equal with that previous high. It doesn't necessarily have to break that level. If it does, then you'd be looking for it to put in a higher high than just reaching the outline of that bullish control zone, push up into the top side of it, and then we'd measure the strength of that momentum behind that oscillation at the time. So that's what we're looking at. Short-term signals and where maybe LivePerson is going. If this MACD signal doesn't work out, that is to say, if the cross doesn't happen, right? Now, the cross happened most recently, and I don't need this on, so I'm going to turn it off. Cross happened most recently back here. So you've got divergence in that these two lines have made it lower and that the divergence between them is greater between the two lines themselves, which creates a divergence with regards to the behavior in price. You can see that also happened at the previous low, and that all comes in line with a trend. That trend line expresses another dimension on price, and it speaks to strength behind it right now. But that's not the only way it behaves. Sometimes it crisscrosses, takes a while to get back above it and confirm it, and then go through the center line. We'll just take a quick look at what happened there. That was the start of this uptrend. So when there is a little bit of consternation, you tend to see them fluctuate as you'd see down here. But when the important point to note about that is that's all happening below the center line. And if this was a high and it was about to break down, that might be happening back above the center line. So it makes absolutely no sense for a shorter to look at shorting it right now when they could just wait, do it up here, get much better bang for their buck. And because there's no incentive to short based on the strength of the momentum behind the price, then anyone doing that would have to be ridiculous. The price itself leads price, so if it does though break down, take out that prior low in at around 118, targeting 113, possibly come in and fill that gap at 99 cents, which should be then back at the rocky outcrop target. And boy, oh boy, there's a lot of reasons why that might be interesting to you should definitely check out that video. I would highly recommend it. Here we are on the hourly, where you've got a golden pocket retracement, 200 period moving average coming at 80 cents. It's also the prior monthly high and the prior weekly low. So what do we expect? We expect that to be support if price breaks down. Will it get as low as there? No guarantee. Lots of areas where it could test in between times. $1.99. That's a strong level of support too. It's obviously a very important psychological level, $1, and I imagine it would close above there. Is 20% a big move? Not for LivePerson. It can do that easily. So if it slips to 80, probably recovers anyway. Today, my friends, what a day it is. Today, my friends, my very good friends, today we closed above $1. That's the fourth day in a row. So we only need to do it 6 more days. Those are 6 trading days. Before those 6 trading days are up, we will see the earnings for LivePerson. We'll see a Fed meeting with really important news coming. And so if that Fed meeting news is positive and LivePerson's earnings beat expectations or are at all surprising to the top side, then we'll have another reason within those 6 days to be extremely bullish before the de-risking happens when the delisting notice disappears, at which point this thing will have so much institutional interest that it'll be back on the radar of an awful lot of people, and the smelly idiot who does Elliott Wave and tries to sell it in a course about GameStop will have egg on his face. And he shall be forever known as weak sauce, with his charting skills also condemned forever to be known as ridiculous. So Interesting stuff coming up for LivePerson and for all of us. Have you seen the latest memes? There was one exclusive to the Discord. It was absolutely banging. It's called LPSN Lorax. It was made by Le Owl, and you'll enjoy it. It's also very, very funny. Right, now, this is the section of the show where I read your ridiculous comments from the chat box. Let's see what you say. Tracepawn, do you work out? Yeah, I work out with the charts every day. I exercise with price. I exercise with options. I do fantastic work. And, well, it's really showing. It's really beginning to show. Exercising keeps you healthy. It's a very, very good way of behaving. Something everybody should do. But the only way to exercise properly is if your contracts are about to expire, if the premium you paid for them is meaningless compared to the money you're about to make on them, and you don't intend enrolling into shares off the back of selling those contracts. It's a very good way of acquiring cheap shares. If that break-even point is broken and those contracts are about to expire and you've got so much of a significant position, you think that it might also be noticed by the market and drive price to the top side. So there's a really good reason to do it. Most people shouldn't exercise. Most people should just sell their contracts and then buy shares. And if you've any doubt about what you should be doing, then you shouldn't have been trading options in the first place, you reprobate. No, I mean, these are complicated financial instruments. You could lose a lot of money. You're up for losing lots of money. If otherwise, there's perfectly good charities out there. Shelterbox is a good one. I run this show. You could donate and support it instead of throwing your money to the market like that. Inichiro, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you very much. So yes, I exercise frequently with the charts. Do you like ice cream? Yes, I love ice cream. I love toffee and honey nut ice cream. I love all types of ice cream. It's all amazing, all of it. If someone gave me ice cream, I wouldn't complain. If I saw ice cream in the shop, I'd buy it. It's brilliant. I love it. Trade spotting. Is the saying true? Sell on the news. Would we? Selling is the news. Is the saying true? Sell on the news. The saying is buy the rumor, sell the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. The concept behind that is that narrative driving price has ended because the start would be the rumor, the end would be the news. And obviously it'll depend on the context of the news. So if the rumor was Elon Musk is going to buy Bitcoin, and that was driving up the price of Bitcoin, and then it came out that Elon Musk had bought Bitcoin, then you might think, well, he's done it now, right? There's nothing more it can achieve at the current narrative than being noticed by and bought by the world's richest man. And he's now bought all of it. It's not looking like he's going to buy anymore. That would be the end of that event, and that cycle would finish and people would start taking profit. If the news instead is this thing is now investable, this thing is now a worthwhile long-term hold for people who don't have the magic we do and can see and have the insights we do to the charts. If the news is it's escaped a possible risk-on event, if the news is that the uptrend is confirmed and it's escaped those previous lows, that all of our TAs proved to be correct and this thing could go to the moon, and if that news involves it holding important support levels and confirming a bullish trend, then that isn't the news. That's not the news. The news is, holy shit, guys. Holy shit, guys. How good would you call that? Let's see what happens next. And then we'll watch, right? Because that's an interesting way to look at that particular point you make there. I prefer to play with LivePerson than plastic trucks. Brad C, he knows what he's up to there. I have a truck. It's not a plastic truck. It's one of those, what are they called? Those famous truck makers that make toys. It's like Tonky or something. What's it called? Actually, though, you guys will know. It's one of these. It's worth loads. I got it because something bad happened, and my mum and dad wanted to cheer me up afterwards. So they took me to a toy shop and they said, "You can have anything you want." And on the way up to it, there was this big green truck in the window, and I said, "I want that big green truck." And they said, "But that's not very expensive. Do you want something else?" And I said, Said I could have anything else I want. Are we going to stand out here talking shit all day? You're going to buy it for me. And so they got it for me. And now it's worth loads. I prefer to see, because I know and understood the concept of appreciation, even back then when I was 1 year old. I see me, my buy LivePerson. Good decision. They're no friends of mine. Who are they? Who are they? Who are these losers? Cause your friends don't roll, and if they don't roll, well, they're no friends of mine. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Tracepoint, ice cream's like sex. Even if it isn't that great, it's still pretty great. Yes. Yeah, well, you see, right? You see, if that ice cream then thinks that the next morning it can just sit in your bed next to you and be all sticky and not want to, get up and have an interesting day, if it thinks that you're going to forego your life and spend it instead in bed next to the thing the next day after, right? Maybe you have ice cream for breakfast as well. And the next day, it thinks that you're going to hang around in bed, like looking at it and answering stupid questions about what other types of ice cream have you had in your past. And, did you like any of those ice creams more than you like this ice cream? And, how would you compare it? Or like, just come on, just give me some answer. You must have some answer. Come on, I'm only, I'll not get upset. Just tell me. If it's that kind of ice cream, then, right, you'd rather go without. I'd rather go without, which is why I maintain such a slim figure and therefore I'm so desired by other ice creams in future. So it's all about moderation with ice cream. Buy the duds, sell the fuds. Buy the duds, sell the fuds. That's a nice wee one. Tonka, that's what it is. Tonka. Willy Tonka. It's like the ice cream. Tracepoint, do you wear wigs? Sometimes, yes, sometimes. Sometimes. On these fantastic shows, I do sometimes wear wigs. Tracepoint, are you AI or are you a live person? Yeah. I'm a live person. Should I take that personally? No, I think it's a compliment, right? It would be a compliment. Though I am much better. Shut up already! God, people outside beeping at each other. Get over it. It's after 9 o'clock, so you're not actually allowed to use your horn unless it's some kind of emergency. And I can tell you that wasn't an emergency. It's somebody outside is a fat elephant's fanny. Yeah, when the ice cream starts nagging you about doing the dishes, it's like, no, look, you were in the dish. You ain't do that. You ain't do it. You were the one that dirtied the dishes, so you ain't clean the dishes and that. And it's like, no, I've got a dishwasher anyway. And what I'm doing, you're talking about. I got kicked out of the video I was watching and ended up here. Fantastic. That's fantastic. If only all videos did that all the time. Do you live on Princess Street? Where did that message go? And how busy is it? I live I'm just around the corner from Princess Street. Yeah, I'm about 100 yards from Princess Street. That is the shirt of a meme. This is the shirt of, I joined the Russian Navy. This is my shirt. I joined the Russian Navy. I used to work in Edinburgh all the time. But in the cheese sandwich factory, we've got a big cheese sandwich factory down the road. That's where Coronel have been. They'd be like Rocky's buttons. You know, they used to have loads of buttons, right? They used to have buttons factories all over Britain. They had buttons factories. Then the war, that terrible war broke out. The terrible war that the Russians won, Second World War, or was it the First War? I think it was the first one. And the First War, no, it's a big street, mate, and Princess Street's huge. And I'm not actually doxed. It's quite amazing. And I'm very, very skillful in that. And yeah, so they had all these button factories, and then there's this country called America, right? It's full of really divisive political opinions, and over there they also invented this thing called a zip, right? Because they thought buttons weren't good enough. They invented the zip, which put the on button factories out of business. Terrible, eh? And then all those poor button makers, they had to get a job in the cheese sandwich factory. And that's where we are now. All right, I'm back. Made a meme in 12 minutes and I need a live person in my phone to boost those numbers up. You made a meme? Wow. Meowerica. I'll stand nearby and eventually I'll hear him screaming. Eventually, yes. It's raining at the minute. At least it was recently. I don't know. I'd have to look closely to check. That bed sloth might have had him incarcerated. Oh my God. See, that's the thing. Sometimes you just wanted some ice cream and you end up in jail. That's terrible. Visited Edinburgh once. Everyone should visit Edinburgh at least once. Least once. Hello, T-Ball. It's in Discord, Jamie. Go and look at it. It's about Larry. Well, I'll look at it here on my phone, but no one will be able to see, though you will be able to gauge my reaction here, LivePerson. My reaction to the meme. I take it it's like a picture meme. Here we go. I'm about to look at it, everybody. If you're not on the Discord, why are you a weirdo or what? There it is. 1 star on this one, and I'll comment Larry's post with it. Oh, look, it's got 4 stars and a green truck. Larry, the most frequently asked question among our viewers was about LivePerson. Please tell us what your thoughts are on conversational AI. I like vanilla ice cream the most. Look, a green truck, burr. Yeah, that's a good one. That's so nice. Sloths are wonderful animals. I wish I had a bed sloth. I met a sloth at Amsterdam Zoo, and the woman told me it was a red panda. And yeah, people talk shit all the time, even at zoos, it turns out. 6 guys and some ice cream is the way to go. 6 guys and some ice cream. I don't know if that would be the way. I enjoy my ice cream. I'm more the sort of person who would enjoy 6 different flavors of ice cream and just me. That's how I would look at things. Though I can tell you from experience that if you try to maintain a relationship with this ice cream over an extended period of time and you've got multiple flavors and they're all like, tell you they're happy jumping in the same bowl together, I can tell you that actually they're not, right? No matter how much they tell you they are, how much they smell and laugh with each other, they're actually not. They end up melting and then merging and then right, you just want to get a whole new bowl, right? That you just get a whole new bowl of ice cream. You just ditch all of it. Traceborn, you already told us about the red pandas. They were actually red pandas. No, they were sloths. Yeah, they were sloths, but I was told they were red pandas, but they weren't. They were sloths, or else it was the other way around. Who cares, really? Whatever it was, I was right. The sloths were lazy, and the person in the zoo was a liar. You just go vegan. You get vegan ice cream too. I've had vegan ice cream. It can be really naggy. It can really nag you like so much. Vegan ice cream can just really get annoying after a while. Though it tastes great. Hi folks, sorry I'm late. Going back to the start. Ted Money, you were late. Somebody give that guy a row. Purple turquoise crowd surf. All righty. There were red pandas. You said that they put paws up. Only red pandas do that. Yeah, they put their paws up. No, every animal wants to give me a high five. Vegan ice cream with blue hair, no thanks. Actually, I had blue hair while I was having a vegan ice cream once. Yes, true story. Check it on my Instagram. Is that just an otter pup? An otter pup? I don't know. I'm going to go with I don't know, but I'll find out and get back to you. Don't forget to like. How's that, eh? How's that? Where can we find the charts that you use? Is there any chart programs that are free of charge that could be useful for beginners? Yes, there is. There's a free version of TradingView, which you can get using the referral link in Rocky Outcrops Discord. Go server guide. It's in the top. You go to that left menu, and then you go to the top, and it's server guide right at the top. And then in there you've got referral codes, and then there you get links, referral links, which you should use for TradingView, and then you use the free version of it, which is what I use here when I'm using this thing. This wonderful charting software. It's brilliant, isn't it? Hey, we love it. We love it. We love TradingView. Now you're gaslighting us about Red Panda's typical Loku behavior. Hey, gaslighting. That was like word of the year last year or something. Gaslighting added to the dictionary, word of the year. I want to be on this council, this panel of people who choose the word of the year. I want to be on it because they pick the shittest words. I should be on it, and I should be picking words. I'm not the poor TV anymore, but I'm not where I want to be either. Brick by brick. Justin Pickerel. Justin Pickerel. What a very lovely man. What a very good man Justin is. If you are one of my trusted people, And you'll know who you are. If I just said that to you, you'll know I'm talking about you. Look out for Justin. He's a good man. He's a good guy. And he will appreciate your help. And he will repay your faith in him with hard work. Hawk Taw, got to be up this year. Yeah, you see, but that's 2 words, Fortnite Chills. That's 2 words. It's 2 words. You big silly. Yo, Jake, cheers. Hawk Taw ice cream. I don't know about that, Pete. I don't know. You know, at this point, I'm thinking that isn't my top choice of ice cream. So feel free to dig in, right? Get dig in. In fact, actually, right now, if you're watching it, go to the kitchen, get a spoon, then come back and eat my ass. Damn straight. I don't take y'all for granted. Yo, no, thank you. Yo, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes, please. Okay, so hawk. Yeah, I mean, if you just stick it and make it 1 word, maybe you'd get away with it, right? Maybe you get away with it. Hey. Right, so this has been a brilliant show already. We've covered Larry's show. I really like Larry. No, I know that when we watched it there, it might not have come across that way, but that's because I don't intend to come across that way. Because who gives a shit? Larry doesn't. I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he would anyway, right? I like Larry, and I appreciate what he does and how he cares about community. I think that perhaps he chose the wrong word when he said that word, durable. You know, do you think that that leaves them connotations? Like, what do they need to be durable, right? Durable, that would mean that like it's long lasting. Why would it need to be long lasting? Can you just hurry up and do the thing already? Or it would need to be resilient and be able to like withstand what would need to be able to withstand what, you know, and why would it need to? Could it not just be excited, enthusiastic? Could it not be that, you know, an excited, enthusiastic, engaged community who provide you with valuable feedback and who work with you as part of a team to change the world, right? That would be what I would look for in my community, which is you guys. Larry loves lamb ice cream. Lamb ice cream. Is Larry a live person? I don't know. I think we're going to have to keep asking him until we get a true answer. I can't get to like sorbet. It's just frozen fruit, juicy, or a fancy selection. Hold on. Yeah, sorbet. Some people love it. Some people absolutely love sorbet. They try to charge the same price for sorbet as they do for ice cream. I don't know, right? Everybody has their preference. You feel free to like sorbet if you want. Right? I wouldn't spend a penny on it. Give me a lip scream. Yeah, lip scream. Yeah, give me some lip scream. I love lip scream. Sherbet. No, sorbet. Sherbet is different. Very different, Pete. Or unless you're asking me if I like it, in which case that's not this kind of show, right? Larry was in the kitchen. What did GameStop do when Larry was in the kitchen? Shall we check it out? We'll check it out. Oh, it's down again. Oh, it's down again. 1/4 percentage point there. Post market is down nearly twice as much again. Oof, it's getting absolutely rinsed here. I mean, overall, it's going sideways here on the hourly chart, but that was it trying up, got to $30, and then just boom, what happened in around there? Probably Ryan Cohen tweeting about politics because, you know, he's incorrigible. You can't stop him. And it's cost how much so far? It's 10. It was 11 billion. Now it's 10 billion. Wow. So they've lost a big chunk of the market cap. That's an expensive tweet, huh? It's costing approximately $1 billion. And the only thing he tweets nowadays is that same tweet. Dong drawings. Yeah, so you had this. This is what we anticipated. So, I mean, I suppose there's an argument to be made that he could have tweeted anything he wanted and it wouldn't have made any difference because price and the decisions were already made. And this is the target in here around $22. After which may well go up here and testing it around $33 to $32, $33. I think it's very likely that you see it come back and test $28 in around this level. At which point let's face it, shitloads of people are going to take all their money in GameStop. This isn't because of me, right? So if you think that it is because of me and that upsets you, then, you know, get over it, right? Get over it. They're going to take that money and going to put it into LipSyn. That's what's going to happen, because this has got all of the things that this has recently pissed people off about, right? It really has pissed people off. Loads of people have been super pissed off about what's been going on recently. You know, as you probably know better than I do, politics is really divisive in America, and to choose a side which is so offensive to so many groups, so many marginalized communities, so many downtrodden people, so many people born without advantage, to choose a side which is ideologically set against them isn't something so many millions and millions of people find that incredibly disheartening, and they literally feel like they've had a broken heart because of it. You know, it's broken their heart, that attitude, and so they've found a new home in LipSyn, and they're going to just pile into this thing, at which point it'll probably go flying. Like, these targets won't be enough for it, and it'll probably come up here testing it around what, $10. I've got a line at $10, so it probably goes to there, which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Be fantastic for people. It would be very disappointing for GameStop, despite the fact that GameStop will go up here at some point. Like, this is the thing, eh? People will think like, TracePod, it's gone to 28, it's gone to 30. You're an idiot. It's like, no. Okay. Anyway, LipSyn, you know, huge moves there. Huge moves coming. So what else then? Chat box, what do you guys think? What are you guys thinking? Look, I'm back reading the chat box. I'm changing size and stuff. Woohoo! Whoa! Delicious Hedge. I agree. Perfect is delightful. Isn't Cohen Canadian? He is, yes, Karen. He is. He's Canadian. He's Canadian, so he's got about as much interest in it, like as much as me, as much to involvement in the actual process as I do. So I suppose I could say whatever the fuck I want as well, right? We don't care who it's offending. No, I could too. But I'm not going to do that. I would never say anything to upset anybody, especially in the last 5 minutes. Oh, Canada. Yeah, that's it. Oh, Canada. I think the full name is Oh, Canada. And you have to say it like that as is tradition. Go LivePerson. TV might do a promo at Labor Day too. Trainview might do a promo at Labor Day. Oh, don't mention Labor Day. Oh, don't mention Labor Day. Eh? Oh, can't talk about Labor Day. Will upset so many groups. Will upset all the job seekers. Will upset all the commies, you know, and will upset everyone on the right, because, you know, labor, right? Nobody cares about labor. It's all about the capitalists that employ those mooches who mooch off the capitalist system by getting paid a wage. That's what it is. So will upset everybody. Will upset the owners of the cheese sandwich factories. Will upset the people outside with the placards. Will upset the people who've been like looking for a job in the cheese sandwich factory. We can't even mention Labor Day. It's too sensitive. Rocky last night talked about using Lisbon retracement. Is that superseded by the MACD indicator today? No, I was looking at the 30-minute time frame. It talked about oscillations within the current trend, and it's not got a confirmation until it goes through the center line. None of that's happened yet, and it may well be that it falls back down, tests those lower levels. That's definitely possible. We got a Labor Day where Europe gets labor-free months. Yes, we get 3 months off, 3 months paid holiday to celebrate Labor Day. And here in the Russian Navy, yeah, we're really big into Labor Day, but we can't talk about it here because it'll get upset. It'll upset people. Bologna sandwich factories are great as well. Bologna, like bolognese, a bolognese sandwich. You got something against pasta, Pete? You're ideologically against pasta, Pete. Is that a correct? Look, somebody else gifted a membership, Mr. Minner. Thank you very much, Minner. How are you doing? What are you up to? Good to see you, buddy. Always great to see you. 4th of July was similar. Oh my God, what happened on the 4th of July? Comrade Tracepoint. Yes, this is I. Comrade Tracespotting. Right, now get back to work. Gifted 1 Tracespotting membership. BMJ Shadow. How did you get on in the hospital, BMJ? What did the report say? Just give me 1 ping, Vasily. 1 ping. Is that shirt a hint hung for Raw October? Yes, it is. I'm communicating with Owl, and you'll see. One ping, Vasily. Legends, Maynard, and BMJ. Yes, they are legends like yourself. Takes one to know one, Jake. So what else do we want to look at? AMC went on a tearing up the charts. So it did. Where is it here? Is it not on my chart? It's so a 9.59%. This sort of thing Lipson does in pre-market, right? Like it's not that exciting to people like ourselves. But also, this is a proper reversal formation. It's managed to achieve important levels. It didn't then hold them. It's only a 50% retracement here. Didn't even make it to the golden pocket. And you would ideally like to have seen it back above 576. Hasn't happened. And so it could just roll over again. Right. It could just roll over again. The debt though, it's been restructured. Yes, it's been pushed out. So those obligations that came due in 2026, which is a year and a half away, are now not due until 2029, which might seem like a long time, right? It might seem like great that it's pushed it out further. But in order to make that, give themselves that breathing room, they had to pay a dear cost. That dear cost paid to extend that debt obligation, which means they're going to be paying interest for longer. Didn't clear it off the books, of course. Still there. Will be a debt for equity swap potentially, but not at favorable levels, not incentivizing the company's board to get there either. And wouldn't be the way I'd have done it, but then Adam Aaron isn't interested in anybody else taking a shot at running AMC. He wants to treat it like it's his startup and it's his little baby. And you're not getting his baby. He's keeping his baby, even if he, if he can't have it, no one can have it kind of deal. Right, but enough said about that, the bear. So 4 hour, there's a 200 period moving average in at around 427. This is an impulse move of the gap at $3. There's your 886 at 287. That's where it's going. Cost. This is a piece of shit, and it's going to $5. Nvidia, it's had such a funny retracement back down. Could easily go a little bit further, testing it around 102, which should be bad for the overall market. But also, it could now come back up again. That there is a harmonic. It's called a deep crab, or a crab, and it likely does have a little bit of reaction. It wants to see it back above 121. That's not all that crazy to imagine that happening. That 200 period moving average is pretty good. It's pretty good. Will they retest or break the moving averages is the question. And it's come back so far to retest it. If it is to break it, then it'll be closing a gap and filling in a golden pocket and testing these prior highs in at around 97. Very possible. But I mean, it's been in a strong bullish trend and it's only just testing that trend line now. So that likely continues. Post-market has lost 1/3%. I don't know how it'll ever recover. What would it be in the world's biggest company and whatnot? Anyway, it's the most popularly traded stock on the stock market. So this thing, I mean, what do you want me to do about this, right? It's difficult to control Elon Musk's behavior and the impact it has on prices. I noticed that he is now vowed to defeat the woke mind virus or some other bollocks. I mean, right? Everything that happens in the world is a reaction to something else that's happened in the world. And what would be really good would be if we could all just take a breath, leave everybody to live their own life and stop interfering in it and get on with living our own. That would be really great, especially if people like him could do that with things that are sensitive topics to good people who don't need that shit, right? That would be good. That'd be good. Though I did notice he said he was spending $45 million a month supporting one particular political candidate, and then turns out that he's not at all. He's just set up a PAC and like asking other people to chip in money, and I thought that was interesting. And then I was wondering, like, if he is going to be doing that and he doesn't have the liquidity himself, which he doesn't, then it will involve selling shares of Tesla. And does he hate the world that much that he would also start burning his own stock and put it into a negative spiral down the way, in which case it'll come back and test 187. But if he can resist that temptation, then it'll probably go up and test 269. If it breaks that, it'll go at 300, which I still think it probably does. This is a bit of a retracement here. It's a bit of a retracement. I thought we drew it on. Anyway, we drew on what would happen, and it was exactly that. Spy! I had a positive reaction, and then it moved down again for the final 4 hours, closing down 0.5%. VIX, though, where have I got VIX on here? VIX. Added to the volatility VIX thread on Paid Side of Discord with a couple of videos there about how to trade volatility indexes and some different comments on ETFs that you might be interested in. So if you're on the paid side, check it out on Discord. Held to 236. That's all well and good, right? But like, truth about this thing is, I'll just show you here. It's at resistance, like it's at resistance. So that's what that resistance looks like. It's also part of a very regimented linear trend, right? Which also looks like that. Very, 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 very looks like that. And, you know, what do you reckon, right? We talked about parallel channels very recently on the show. What do you think is going to happen, right? It's dead bloody obvious that's what's going to happen. But GME, we talked about that already. Lipson, have we talked about it? It's amazing. Have we talked about Lipson? See, very little things have the potential that this does. There's a 4 hour, 200 period moving average back at that level, around the dollar, the 90 cents level, that level, golden pocket retracement in around that level, prior weekly low, prior monthly high. That's where it'll go if it doesn't hold this 236 in at around 1.19. You have to lose it on a 4 hour time frame, then open, close, open below it, at which point it might make that move. But like, that's not the direction it's been traveling in at the minute, right? Like, this is a car going at 90 miles an hour along the motorway, and to start talking about how it could get to, you know, a destination in the opposite direction that it's traveling in, everybody that was listening to you would think you were weird. And that's true of also of price at this moment. So while it could get there, it would obviously have to not travel at 90 miles an hour in the opposite direction, which is what it's doing at the moment. But that can change. That can all change. And that would be a good signal to look to be here, which we started with after we'd been talking about ice cream, or before we were talking about it. But when we were investigating Larry's opinions on it, yeah, that looks nice and pretty now. Nice and pretty. So pretty. So that's cool. Hey, what else? What else? Aji. Right, into the chat box again. Oh, Zoltan, 1 month. Thanks for all you do and sharing this Lisbon opportunity with us. Yo, Zoltan, you're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. Zoltan, gifted 1 trade spotting membership. Boom, boom. Thanks. So if it was that anybody did get offended by my commentary on Elon Musk, which he wouldn't, so, you know, don't take it personally on his behalf, or my jokes with Larry and the ice cream, and I definitely don't think Larry would be upset I don't think he'd be upset, okay. Or my commentary on American politics, right? Don't get upset. Mostly I was just mocking it all. I was just mocking how ridiculous these things were, as opposed to actually having any interest in it. I don't have any interest in it. It couldn't be more fucking boring. 1 trade spotting membership. Boom. Appreciate that. Larry is an alpha bro. He's fine. Yeah, well, strength training, vanilla ice cream. What was the last week? Favorite color? It's a monthly show, so you can't miss it. You can't miss it. And girl, who isn't me tonight? What does that mean? How about those Elliott waves? You got any more of those Elliott waves? You know, back in the history of America, it's interesting, right? There used to be like this undiscovered part, right? And pioneers would venture west. And it was a tough lifestyle, right? Everything wanted to eat you. Nature wanted to kill you, or it itself was dying. The mountains, the trees, the lakes, the rivers, even the grass was out to get you. And people would set up these towns and they become little hubs of economic activity. And in them, there would be the hubbub of society and the growing of a new world. And who would come around but a guy in a cart galloping along, clip clop, clip clop, clip clop, with a little wooden wagon behind him. and he'd pull up in the center of town and whap open those back doors, and then he'd offer his wares and he'd say, roll up, everybody. I've got some Elliott waves for you. I've got some Elliott waves. Do you want some Elliott waves? Come and get your Elliott waves. And the sick and poorly in the town, they would hobble up to him and they'd say, please, can I have some Elliott waves? Please, can I have some? And he'd say, only if you give me all of your money and everything that means anything to you. And then he would barter them out of their life savings, which were very meager, and everything that they needed to scrape by their tiny, difficult existence in this threatening land. He'd take it all off them and he'd give them one Elliott wave. And they would be happy, and that was how it went, and that was how they discovered the Western, the pioneers of America. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Please do a video where the Elliott wave guy is Jerry from Rick and Morty. Hey, he totally is. That is exactly who Jerry is. Good shout. Click lyric is any, not and. Lyric in what? We're talking about lyrics. Let me get some of them Elliott waves, and while you're at it, throw in some snake oil. Well, you can get some for free if you buy 2 Elliott waves. If you buy 2 Elliott waves, you can also get some free snake oil. You buy 3 Elliott waves. Oh my God. Nobody has got the money for 3 Elliott waves. What is this? Planet Zog. Over there, they've got loads of money. Just for funsies, how do you draw an Elliott wave on LPSN? With this tool here. See it here, this brush, right? You draw it with that. You go like this or something. That's not it, but I'll show you what it's like. Look, it's like, where will we go? We'll go like here, right? This is where we're going, right? We're going here. We're doing our Elliott waves, guys. I don't want to tarnish this chart. I'll just open a new one. I can't be bothered, right? I'm going to tarnish it. See, now that I've drawn this, it might actually be the most likely Elliott wave to work in the entire world, right? And because there's a danger of it, I'm going to undo it before I finish it, and I'm going to open up now a new one because that I do not want that to happen. So everything there, it will happen, and then make it a copy. Yeah, that'll do a copy. Smelly wave crap. Hurry up already, computer. What is this? And I'm going to delete all the other drawings. Because that's a good idea. Not. Now we're going to hide this thing because it actually gives you the answers. And we're going to draw some Elliott wave. Everybody, you excited? Is the Elliott wave coming? Right, so. Why did I delete all the drawings, didn't I? Did I just hide them? I need to delete them. Delete. Right, so Elliott wave. Elliott wave. Elliott wave. The third one is by far the smelliest of the waves. Right, that would be what it'd be like, and then it would collapse. That would be what a smelly wave would happen, like something like that. And it's disgusting. Nobody feels better now, right? A lot of people watching along will now feel a little bit queasy, kind of unwell in their stomach. They'll have that churning in their gut. And in a few minutes, they'll rush to the toilet with diarrhea because that's what smelly Elliott does. He gives you dysentery. His last name actually was Dysentery, of the guy who invented them. There are people who I would respect who would give you a good take on Elliott waves, but the reason that they're so able to do that is because they know that they're crap, and so they just actually use lots of other information to give validity to the waves and make it look like X, Y, and Z, and then they would talk about it like, it might do this and that and the next thing, and you pay close attention and they'll see that they're actually referencing things that have got nothing to do with Elliott waves. Unless it is that you're actually working them out based on the percentage moves and then you're looking back, in which case, if you are doing that, you can only do it after the third wave has happened, at which point that's the wave that's big, that's the wave that you trade, in which point there is no point in doing them, right? So everything about them is stupid. Even the best possible way of using them is in fact stupid. Smelly Elliot. So we answered that question pretty well. What else are we talking about here? I watch Matt Cord regularly. He uses tarot cards to predict market moves. That's pretty good. Well done. That's not bad, isn't it? Mr. Cord and myself are aware of each other's existence. So we are. I haven't seen him in a while. He's if you don't know who Matt Cord is, he's an AMC streamer. Him and Trey Trades were on the news talking about how AMC is going to do amazing stuff and whatnot. I use a psychic octopus that tells me if price goes up or down. That's pretty good. When will you do an AMA? When will you do an AMA? Man, I don't know if I've got the time. Matt is funny, says No Doubt. He's a good lad. I do think he might be a good lad. Connor Milligan, you have to use Octomass for that, for the octopus. Yes, well, they don't have 5 fingers, so their whole concept of mass is different from ours, isn't it? Hey, Jamie, I was watching an old video where you mentioned about pre and after hours as being a can or something to that effect. I was wondering if you could speak a little on after hours and pre-market cheers. Being a can? Like a can of pop? What do we mean here? I mean, I use fantastic analogy, so if you can remind me a little bit of what it was, it'll probably all come flooding back. Pre-market, post-market, the exchange, a con. Oh, yes, it is a con. Yes, maybe that's what you said, and I read it wrong. Definitely possible. It isn't a can. It is a con, so that all makes sense. Anyone remember Paul the World Cup Octopus? I do. I remember Paul the World Cup Octopus. They killed him and ate him. Yeah, so it's a con because it's not relying on nibble pricing, national best bid offer. The trades are facilitated by the exchange. Often it's the exchange themselves that are buying and selling those shares. Not the exchange, because it's not done on the exchange. Your broker, will be buying and selling those shares. Or you'll be trading with other people in your little corner, which isn't reflective of the greater market sentiment. And it leaves gaps on the chart. Now, if this trading pre and post market doesn't have an implication for the opening or for the next day's open market trading, then it'll lead to a retracement. The only way that you'd be able to judge the validity of it is by looking at the momentum, and the only momentum you're going to be getting is narrowed and focused exclusively on that one place you're seeing it. Now, if you're looking at it across TradingView or some sort of charting platform that aggregates all this information, you're still not going to get a true picture of the real sentiment. The momentum that you're looking at that moment in time won't be at all relative to that which came before during the trading day, and it's completely useless. So, I mean, I could talk about it more when I go back and check up on all the important aspects of it and refresh myself with the important aspects to it, but I mean, essentially, it's just a con, yeah, because it's not like you can control. You don't have national best bid offer. That's nibble pricing. That's a legal requirement for trading during market hours. So it's trying to prevent a huge spread. That's the difference between the bid and the ask. That's the difference between someone who wants to buy the thing and somebody who wants to sell the thing. And the gap between those two areas is called the spread. And a huge gap means that there's like lots and lots of volatility because it's not got any liquidity. And so if you want to get out of a trade that goes against you, you're going to have to take the opposite side of it, right? So if you bought it, then you're going to have to sell it. And the selling price be a huge difference away from the buying price. And so that costs this extra difference there on top of just the fact that the trade has gone against you. And so it's useless. It makes it really risky, and it's not reflective of true market sentiment. Also, it may well be that your broker is just buying those shares off you and then selling to somebody else slightly later, or delaying orders from certain constituents or from certain geographies, and then just facilitating trading between themselves, which is perfectly legal, a complete con, and used to exploit you. So I would just not bother doing it, right? I mean, I would just not bother doing it. Like, a lot of people make mistakes because they don't understand what they're doing. What they're doing is being really greedy, right? Because there will be a tomorrow, and there'll be a day after that, and there'll be a day after that, and there'll be at least 10 years, right? I looked at the charts, and they told me there'll be at least 10 more years. And if you trust me and people like these other fellow members of the chat box beside you, if we trust in each other and we look back on our own previous history, we'll say that, well, in those 10 years, we will undoubtedly talk about 10 tickers that each will go up at least 100%. I know that might sound unrealistic if you've just turned in, but that's what's happened regularly here on the TradeSpotting channel, right? I looked at a number of them already today that we've called out that would go up 100%, and they did. Lipson's going to go up many hundreds of percent. And if you were to take $1,000 and you were to put it into a trade that went up 100%, and you were to take that money and put it into another trade that went up 100%, and you were to complete that process over and over, those full 10 times, you'd turn your $1,000 into millions of dollars, right? Just 10 trades that you'll get listening here to TradeSpotting. If you apply patience, your own consideration, you ignore cons, you ignore the greed that affects all of us, right? That affects all of us. Like, I'm an incredibly ambitious person, and I want to win everything. So I know that part of that will affect my greed, and I will have that, like everybody else does. I'll have that there as part of my nature, and I have to fight against that, right? And the way I do that is by having a plan that's aware of those parts of my personality that could compromise my goals, and is designed around avoiding any actions that I could take that would harm me and make it so that I didn't achieve my desired outcome, so that I can be very, very ambitious and also achieve it without compromising myself. And trading pre-market and post-market, unless you're actually having an impact on price and you are the sentiment and you're going to make a difference, why would you do it? Because somebody else will come along and crush it, right? That is the efficient market hypothesis. There's somebody else out there with money that understands the trends ultimately reverse towards the mean, and if the power behind the price that's driving it in a trend away from its mean can be subsumed and consumed by this other market participant, then they'll do it, and they'll look for that opportunity, right? There's a lot of people who've got so much money that when they interact with the chart, they would cause price to move if it was a trade significant to their account. And so what they do is they look for other greedy people doing things such as trading in pre-market and post-market, pre-market, post-market, and then they take advantage of them at open. It happens a lot, more than you might imagine, actually. What happened? T-Ball Hennings. I spoke with Fidelity and they said only 5% of people exercise. That's really bad for, people. We want to be extending lifespans here, don't we? We want to be extending the lifespans of people. Yeah, only 5% of people exercise, yes. Well, 95% of options trades are terminated, not actually exercised. So that would be the remaining 5%. So Fidelity probably watching along here and trying to put their own spin on the information. 95% of option contracts are terminated. And the only way that can be is if people are selling them as opposed to exercising them. Or they're expiring worthless, in which case they're terminated. Your goals should align with your purpose. Yes, and those goals shouldn't be fuzzy goals. They should have hard edges. They should be clearly identified. They should be easily articulated. And you should be having a plan that works backwards from the goals to where you are now. Isn't that good? Isn't that useful? You should also build in the fact that you'll need a repetitive aspect to your own behavior so that you can include consistency as part of your plan. The way that you stick to a consistent plan is by keeping it simple. So simplicity, consistency, a plan, your goals, hard edges, and every action with a purpose, as Fortnite Chills is pointing out there. Every action with a purpose. That's one of the tenets of Stoicism, and Stoicism can help you as a trader, even if you don't really give a shit about the overall philosophy. It definitely helps with regards to your trading. Join a book club. Join the book club this Sunday. This Sunday, the book club again. Take part in the book club, everybody. I know that we're killing it with LivePerson. But we kill it with a lot of things. We kill it with a lot of things, and we'll continue to do so. And you can be part of what we're achieving, which will go on to achieve magnificent things in future. This group of people are going to do incredible things. It might not always be obvious. It's getting more and more clear now. But we're going to go on and do amazing things together. So join that book club, level up, be part of what we're trying to achieve, which is you being better at trading. That's what we're trying to achieve. And help me make that possible. My goal of making you guys the world's best retail traders, which I already think that I'd stand you up against anyone. As a group, I'd stand you up against anyone. What's Jamie doing? You're laughing at it post-market? It's just not really moving much post-market there. It's not moving much at the minute. It had moved earlier slightly, but not anymore. Not doing anything anymore. There's nice green. We like that. Right, so it's been a brilliant show. Thank you very much for watching. I really think that everybody should watch Rocky's show. Is there any chance somebody could link to it in the description there? In the description, what you like, Traceborn. In the chat box. Is there any chance someone could link to it in the chat box? I really think everyone should watch it. Now, if you were thinking, oh, this show was good, but I'm not sure if I understood certain aspects of it, I'll watch it back. I can tell you that you would get a greater benefit and a much higher utility in instead watching Rocky Outcrop's show from yesterday. He explains the targets above in a much easier way to manage your trades around. And he understands and articulates why it might be that price would come back down again and where it would go to. If that was the case, where you would put a stop loss, how you would then enter afterwards when price, if it did go in your intended trade direction, but you were then no longer in. How the nature of this chart means that you would still make loads of money, and explains in really simple terms a strategy that you could use with regards to LPSN that'll mean that you have got the right philosophy and the right attitude and the right mentality to take advantage of the clearly strong upward movements, these thrusts to the top side in price, while managing risk so you don't get caught out, and giving you the ability to enter at support levels should you get stopped out and prices come back down again, thereby having a much bigger position from a much lower level, having taken a stop at a much higher place. And there's been a concept in the GME community, which I tried to fight against because it's wrong, that just buying and holding is good for GameStop. But actually, all that does is remove liquidity from the market. It doesn't do anything for price. In fact, if anything, it removes sections of the demand. It doesn't remove anything from supply because the same amount of shares are meeting the market because the shorts are able to close and open, close and open, close and open. And the amount of shares deployed at market then never really changes. So supply isn't affected, but demand drops off. If you just buy everything you've got, you put it in, you buy it, and you're holding it and not doing anything else, well, then you stopped interacting with price. You're not having an impact on price, and you've been removed from the demand side of the equation. So the demand goes down, the supply stays the same, which means that the proportionally supply is then more powerful, and that has a negative impact on price. And so trading can be beneficial for the long-term health of any stock. That isn't something that people know about or think about. Traders get a bad name because they're doing really well quite often. They're managing to make the most of every oscillation. And those people who are buying and holding, who aren't able to capitalize on these oscillations, often cast an envious glance at them and think their action of selling is what's impacting price. But of course, that's not true. Price was going to do what price is going to do. These traders are taking advantage of those oscillations to able get a bigger and bigger and bigger position. And so I'm not advocating for you to trade. I think that you should learn how to trade long before you actually trade. And that all I'm saying is that traders, they add to the velocity of a stock. If they're accumulating positions, then they do it with an extreme amount of impact for the overall market. And that it's ideally, you would all be brilliant traders, but I don't think that you get there by actually trading things before you learn. I think that that'll cost you all your money, that it'll then take you out of the equation, and it'll lead to all of your money going to the other side of the trade. And instead, what's a good way to do things is to learn to trade. And so take my course, www.technicalanalysis.school. It's set up and built for you so that you can help me achieve my goals of us becoming the best retail trading community in the world. And if you appreciate the work I do and you trust me and you trust the charting I do here and the risk management and analysis I do of price, then would it not also be true that you'd like to do the same? That's the place to do it. You'll get amazing teachers. You'll get an amazing community. You'll get lifetime access to that side of Discord. And you'll get all the skills that I think are crucial to make you a good trader. So think about doing it and watch Rocky Outcrop's show. Watch it. Oh, I had that on and it was no drawings. You maybe want to see the drawings and you maybe want to see them in high fidelity. Risk Above, Rocky Outcrop's videos, the one to watch. Jeepers, I left myself big that whole time. Pardon me. There is Lisa with the brilliant message. How do I put it to the top? I can't. There it is. That's the message from Lisa there. That's the link. And then before that, we had a link to Rocky's show from Lisa too, which I can put up, but you'll never remember that. Or will you? Pryfigliv _G. Thank you for that. I'll watch the video. Wilfulucky. Definitely watch that video, everybody. You'll be in good company. There is the link in chat box. Just click it and you'll get to it. Always a bigger fish. Always a bigger fish. It's the efficient mercury collection system, right? It's the efficient mercury collection system. Always a bigger fish. I was just in Edinburgh. Cool town. Thank you very much, Serge. It's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Got an old town, a new town. In the old town, we built over a different old town, right? Because there's an old town underneath here because we had the plague real bad. So what we did was we built a new city on top of it, and we trapped everybody else underneath who was sick, and we put bread through little openings we left in the top of the doors. And that's all true. And if you come to Edinburgh, you go on a walking tour underneath and see what that old town's like. It's amazing. Not the old town. This is the old town. The older town. We built the old town on top of. And then we built the new town, which is the first planned town ever built in the world. And it's really beautiful. You would like it. We've got a volcano at the top of the street I live on. This is Rocky's flat. Which is like very close to my street. Right, we've got the Royal Mile. At the top of that street, we've got a volcano with the Edinburgh Castle on it, and at the bottom of it, we've got another volcano, which has got the palace. I said it's the Queen's Palace nearly there, but she hasn't been there in ages. So it's the guy with the big ears checks in now, and it's a beautiful, beautiful city. You would all love it very, very much. Thank you very much for watching. Watch Rocky's video. Take that course. See you tomorrow for more action on LivePerson. It'll be the weekly close. That'll be incredibly interesting, incredibly fun. I'll be in Discord watching it all day. I was there today providing oversight, making sure people weren't crazy. I lived in Leith. Obi-Wan is very, very famous. Very, very, very famous here. Leith now. You'll have heard of the movie. Have you heard the movie? People ask me this every so often. Have you heard of that movie, Trainspotting? And I have. Yeah, it's set in Leith. And it's a very good show. It's a very hip area nowadays, Leith. You know, it's a very hip area. Elon Musk and Mark, what's his name? Bezos will be down there in a minute. Gentrifying it. Just after they get through gentrifying space, they'll be down gentrifying it, you know, pushing out all the hard-working cheese sandwich factory generations of cheese sandwich factories workers used to live in Leith. Now they're getting pushed to the fringes by the property prices. Terrible news, isn't it? Terrible. Oh, those poor sandwich factory workers. It's got the guy Ken in it. Kenny, it's got Kenny in it. What use of these? For all the use of these, might as well stick them up my arse. I love to go to the Lafroig distillery. I bet you do, Willfully Lockie. I bet you love that distillery. It's one of the best whiskey distilleries in the world, so of course you like going to it. Of course you do, and with your entry price, if they even still have that, because it might be free. With your entry price, you got free whiskey with it, right? So it's a good trip. It's a good day out, so it's a good big day out. Ken what I mean? I do, but it's fit. Ken fit I mean. Obi-Wan. Ken fit I mean. I suppose that's a little bit more like Aberdeen, but hey, it works. I like it. Right, thank you very much for watching. Check out that video from Rocky, and you should take the course. It's pretty obvious. Tracepot and send you some love on Streamlabs. Oh my goodness, I should have been checking in. I had this here to be looking at Streamlabs and your boy Larry. Our boy Larry, our man in Havana. Streamlabs, open up and tell me what's up. Zoltan became a member. Thank you very much. Or else it wasn't. He shared his membership celebration because he's been a member for a month already. Brilliant. Men are gifted a membership. Brilliant. Lafroig is a peat smoked whiskey from Islay. Islay. There's context from my fantastic dad in the chat box. Family show. It's family show here. Family show. Sure, loads of you know that because you're married to me now. Lafroig. Peat smoked whiskey. I mean, all of it tastes like fire, right? I mean, all of it tastes like fire. You have to drink an awful lot of whiskey before you can tell the difference between it, I think. Like Lafroig, but I'm also a fan of Spaceids. Right, so they're not peat ones. I guess they're not the peat ones, right? But they're all like fire, right? They're all like dragon fire. Well, what did we miss? Pete Reed and Sizzle. $50. Cheers, mate. Pete Reed and Sizzle, $50. Blueberry Eckety. Blueberry Eckety. Blueberry, love a peaty Scotch. Aye. Scotland's, it was like it's a huge export, isn't it? You know, but the export, the tax on it for export is fucking absurd. It's absurd, you know. Come buy it in Scotland, you get it a whole lot cheaper than you do if you have to buy it outside anywhere else outside in the world. If we're married, can you buy me some LPSN to keep me happy? Fortnite chills. That's not the way it works in my marriages. Nah. Nah. That's not the way it works in my marriages. We don't have to buy each other that. No. If it you know, we're married, so you have to super chat me and use the links in the description. That's the way this marriage works. All right. You better keep me happy because you don't like me when I'm angry. Fortnite chilies, $1.99. Appreciate it. What's your favorite ice cream? Oh, that was a good one. We covered that. Pete Reed and Sizzle was the Sizzle with the $50. What a total legend Pete is. Everybody else, Pete's my favorite wife at the minute. I huddled for you 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago. But you're still huddling for us. I hope so, sir. I do. You do. You're right. You kept me happy. And my blood sugar is right nice and high. What with all that ice cream or whatever it was. Jimmy is a sprinkle girly. Yes, I'm a sprinkle girly. What's that? If no, I'd be more of a party girly. The prettiest is Octomore by, as if I'm going to be able to say that. Brooklyn Trace spotting. Prettiest. How come you guys know so much about whiskey? I think that you have been drinking a lot of it, and that's probably bad for you. And also, who said you could have a drink of whiskey? Well, LPSN's not even got 450 yet, right? And we'll be drinking it when it's got a cult following. I should be tapping into that. Octomore, I should be tapping into that stuff. I might get a wee tap into that a little bit then, eh? Get some of them culty folks over here. Dilute you sensible, rational people. Look, stop drinking whiskey until we get to $10 already. Get to $10, we'll all have a big glass of whiskey together. Right? There's a PO box. If you're married to me, there's a PO box which you live at with me, and you can no, I don't know if you can post Lafroig or Octomore or whatever to it, but because some people don't like you sending alcohol. But if you don't tell them what's in it, right, then you'll probably get away with it. Traceborn, I have a TA question. Victor Bardos, well, a bit late in the day for this. Let's see how it goes. When you drew the most recent downward channel, some candles have been cut. How do you decide to cut through bodies or wicks when drawing channels trend lines? I would look at how price behaved in the immediate subsequent candle, and if that was bearishly engulfing or exceeded the low, should it be exceeding the channel on the top side? If I'd look to the subsequent candle, immediately retraces back down within the formation, then I would discount that breakout to the top side. If it was divergent, I'd likely do the same. If there was a bigger wick than there was body, I'd also consider doing it. Or if it was that there was really low volume on that candle that took it out of the formation, I'd also do it. And that's 3 reasons. There's lots of others, but those are them. Hey, another gifted membership from Mr. Minner. Thank you so very much, Mr. Minner. You legend. Thank you very much. All right, I'm watching the replay, and the best ice cream is definitely salted caramel. It's pretty good, yeah. I did like that. When I first tried it myself, I was quite dubious because I was like, who needs salt in their ice cream, right? Who needs that? I don't need that. The caramel's in there, that's fine, right? Why are we putting salt in it? I want to keep salt levels low. Why are we doing it? But then I tasted it, and I was like, yes, all right, actually. It's all right. I think salted caramel ice cream, like knowing that exists, yet spending your time looking for different types of vanilla ice cream. I'd be very, let's like, okay, I'll tell you the truth right now. This is a big reveal here that I'm sure Larry himself didn't want you to know. How did you like your coffee? Wackenya, I loved it. I always love all coffee. It's amazing. Larry talks about what type of vanilla ice cream because his kids like vanilla ice cream, right? And I don't think I'm revealing anything too crazy here because it's not like I'm doxing the guy. His kids love it, right? And because his kids love it, yet they insist on only eating it. And if he gives them anything else, they throw it at him. He wants to broaden their horizons. And so he's borrowing your efforts in order to do that. And when he introduces them to more and more types of vanilla ice cream, maybe at one stage you'll sneak some salted caramel in there and tell them, you know, this is like vanilla 2B, and they'll eat it, they'll like it. And then later on, he'll reveal to them that he's tricked them. He'll do the big reveal, and then they'll understand, right? Which is what happened to me when I was younger, because it used to be that for 17 years, the only thing I ate was fish fingers in custard. And one day, my mum gave me spaghetti with turkey mince and a pasta sauce. And she told me that it was fish fingers and custards. And so I ate it all up and I said how lovely it was. And then she said, ha ha ha, I tricked you. It was actually spaghetti. She got me. Sticky. Why are you flirting with me? All right, Rick, I can't help myself. I'm incorrigible. Right. So thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button, right? If you didn't like this show, I don't know. I don't know. I think it was quite likable. I definitely liked it from this side. And there's a Rocky Outcrop video. It'll help you ellipsing. Watch it. Also, there's a course you should take it. And there's the Discord, www.discord.gg for good game /Rocky Outcrop. So I didn't know they do look alike. Yeah, I had no idea until afterwards. And oh my goodness, she really got me that time. Right, so thanks very much for watching. See you tomorrow.